Welcome back to the Blindsiders. I am Ben, and I'm here with Dylan and Brian to talk about episode number 6 of Survivor 47, the merge episode. That's kind of a merge episode, but not a merge episode. But it was a merge.
It's a merge.
Yeah, yeah. I know we talked about earlier in the season, especially talking about Rome, how it's a lot easier to really root for Rome, or not root for him, but like enjoy his presence on the show, given that it was like abysmally clear that he was not winning the season, and you could see down the line that he had a big downfall episode coming, and we just watched an hour and a half of it, and it was as good as expected, and I love this. I think this is something the show does not do nearly as often anymore, because they love the blind sides. They love the surprising the audience. But yeah, they spent an hour and a half just burying Rome and making it abysmally clear he was going.
Awesome episode. Best, because there's only one merge episode. Calling next week a merge episode just doesn't feel right. This was the merge episode. Great episode. We got done away with the split tribes. Thank God. We're not fully back with the proper merge just yet, but this is as close as I think that we'll probably get, at least in the foreseeable future. Very, very good episode. The fan favorites stay. The villain that we love to root against goes. I wish Rome would stay in the game a little bit longer. At the same time, my two bays, Saul and Andy, were on the chopping block. So I am very, very happy that it was Rome. But just another great episode. The show, once again, is starting to slowly get more and more out of its own way and just let these players play. And it's really working out awesomely. Man, what a season. It feels like we're just like continuing just down a great path. And even next week just looks like we're going to get another just really solid socially approached game. It was very, very good.
Yeah, definitely. I think tough to see Rome go. He was very entertaining, but this is very, very reminiscent of the Chris Noble episode of Ghost Island, where it's just like, it's Chris. We're not hiding the fact that it's Chris. It's going to be fun, though, watching him go. And not for nothing, got to sit in Jeff Probst's chair. That's crazy. That's never happened before. So I feel like Jeff in the show liked Rome, knew he was going to be a big character, a big talking point this season, and wanted to get. I saw someone say this is like when you give your dog chocolate before putting him down. Wanted to give him a moment to remember on the way out, which I thought was very sweet of Jeff.
Yeah, I mean, at the tribal council, they're going to talk about how your legacy when you go out pre-merge is that you're a pre-merger, and that's like basically it. And if we're going to like operate under these weird rules where I guess Rome is technically a pre-merger by Jeff's bastardization of the word merge, I think that his legacy is going to be much beyond that. And I think like there's if we're going to look at somebody from the new era as a pre-merger, quote unquote, who's like has a chance of getting on season 50, I think Rome is in the conversation for sure. And he would definitely be like a fun chaotic element on like kind of a huge all-star season.
Yeah. I know. I feel like we've been kind of we found ourselves saying it the past few seasons when there was inklings of season 50 and what that was going to bring, and if it was a returning season, we always name a bunch of people. Rome, once again, I agree. I think he's very high up there. I think Rome and Q are probably the two players from the two previous seasons that I like. I would also love to see Rome and Q play together too. So that's like another really big. I really hope we get to see that. Yeah, Rome was the villain that we asked for. It's not necessarily the villain that like we've grown accustomed to, or the 40 seasons that we experienced before this. But yeah, Rome was great. Admittedly, I thought something was going to give in that tribal at a certain point. I think they did a really good job of keeping people talking. And also like I looked at how much time was left when the tribal started, and I got a little nervous. just because there was a little bit more time than usual, and usually when that happens, something big goes on. But no, they did a great job building the suspense. I thought it was a bit of a wet fart use of that amulet. Make like many advantages and stuff that we've gotten recently. A lot of the players seem like it was better to just get rid of it than play it, which sucks. But there was a way for that amulet thing to be well played, but it would have had to been done perfectly, and it just doesn't seem like anybody really wanted to do that. So that kind of sunk. Rome voting for Sam. I felt like I wanted that satisfaction of him thinking he was voting for Saul, but him thinking he was so safe that he's going to just throw out like a Hail Mary vote in case there's an idol played. It kind of, I guess, makes sense for to sum up Rome and his ego. But yeah, the amulet's out. We're officially at merge. Got a sick amulet, sick idol too. The immunity idol is awesome. Yeah, the more I think about this episode, the more I like it. It was just such a great episode.
Yeah, I did like, I mean, obviously we're gonna probably heavily criticize Rome's gameplay, but I do think he did a very good, soliloquy about why this twist, like the amulet twist, is like malformed, as are many of the twists that we've seen in the new era. And I would even go further as to say the amulet twist like fundamentally misunderstands like how idols work as a mechanic, because the whole idea of an idol is it provides a safety net for somebody in the minority to be able to like flip a vote, and like save themselves, save an ally, like counter a blindside that a majority group is trying to push onto them. But when you have these three amulets, you're intrinsically creating a situation where three completely disparate people are going to have to agree in order to get it to work, at least in the first, third to half of the merge, which is when like an idol is going to be the most useful, as like just not an immunity necklace, basically. And that's just like counter to the whole idea of how an idol is, generally works. And then after two people have gotten out, it becomes like a normal idol with the person who's left. But at that point, that person is probably already entrenched into the majority because they've been able to get the two other people out. Like unless it just happens incidentally, the third person is like probably the person who is in control of votes. And we saw this with like Austin in 45, with his amulet. Like it either is like unusable because the three people are never going to come to a consensus in a situation where an idol would be useful, or it's going to get narrowed down to a person who will never need it. It's just completely malformed as a twist idea.
I think the impossible way for it to work too is that if everybody goes back to their tribal and doesn't talk about it with anybody, and only those three know. But you're asking at that point humans not to really be humans for the idol to work.
Well, yeah, I mean, like that. If a situation like that were to happen, it would have happened in this situation where the three people who got it were like not like super in the majority. Like Carolyn to a degree was, but like even still, Carolyn was kind of like a middling player. Where you had like Andy, who was like mostly on the outs of Gata. Eventually he got into a majority, but even still at the merge, we'll see that majority that he was in like immediately threw him to the wolves, which we can talk about. And you had Kyle, who was like definitely at the bottom of Tuku. So like this is like the closest to those circumstances that you could ever imagine for it to work. And here it still didn't work at all.
It is very interesting because like, and obviously we talk about Survivor. We're probably people who think about Survivor much more than the average person does. But I feel that this is so obvious that this is a bad twist. So it's very interesting for Jeff to be like, "Oh, you think it's bad? Like, explain it to me."
Mm-hmm.
It's like, "Oh man, you actually think it's good? How? Like, it doesn't make any sense."
Yeah.
But I mean, we got what we possibly could have gotten out of a twist like this, like the most in terms of drama in Korong, when Ty didn't use his part of the idol to make a super idol, and Scott, right, went home. Like, that was the most interesting this twist would ever be. We got it. We don't need to do it anymore.
Yeah, and the reason that it was interesting in that situation was like specifically because of what I just described, where Ty was in a majority and wanted a certain outcome, and you were never going to get two people in the minority to actually agree on using an idol in a productive way. It's just like statistically is not going to happen.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know, Jeff. Maybe just like run these by a focus group of super fans.
Yeah.
You know.
Call Mike White. Like, Mike White usually has a decent pulse. Like, he got him to give up on all of the other previous stupid twists that Jeff had introduced into the game.
Yep. Don't call Tyler Perry. Call Mike White. He knows what's up. But yeah, no, I'm glad the amulets are gone. I'm glad that they got used on Teeny. Not that Teeny was getting voted off, but it's nice for me, since Teeny's my winner pick, to be 100% sure that Teeny wasn't going. But nothing too special about the amulets. Glad they're gone. May they rest in peace. Hopefully Rome killed them.
I do want to touch on that because I texted you guys, there was a portion of this episode, and I was probably about 10 minutes behind you guys until I finally caught up as Tribal. There was a portion of this episode I became very convinced Teeny was going home slowly because she had gotten no screen time when they had all met at the beach. And then I started to, when somebody had brought up how the amulet's working and getting somebody out, I think it was in one of the confessionals, I forget who did it. I became more and more convinced that they were editing it in a way that Teeny was going to be the first boot to go home, which would have kind of like furthered our discussions last week of Teeny desperately needing to get to the merge. And when she finally gets to like the faux merge, she can't make it. Up until Tribal, I was like convinced of that too. And even then, when they all united their idol, when the amulet, I thought something had to give, because very rarely, recently at least, have we gotten such a straightforward vote. I feel like it's been a very long time since we've gotten a straightforward vote like this. Like I have like PTSDs at the point that I feel like I have to expect the unexpected is going to happen at this point, just because it seems too good to be true with Survivor recently, that usually that's the case, which is kind of a knock on sometimes with the editing too, right? Because with one of our complaints recently, some of the editing has been kind of garbage and not setting up certain plays, and they purposely do it to trick the viewer. Sometimes it's worked, sometimes it hasn't, but I think that's a result of where I've watched previous seasons. It was very obvious this person was going home, and like if something would happen, that's the shocking part. I think the anticipation of sitting there waiting for something shocking to happen has kind of sucked a little bit of the value out of these straight up votes like that. But I'm very happy that amulet's out though, especially now that we're talking through it. It's another one of those things. It wasn't as annoying like as that one where they had to say the phrases. That was horrible. That one was awful. And it's almost like the combination of the two, like the theory of it all. If you combine these two things, that like it could maybe somehow work if it's done perfectly, but it's just not. And I'm really glad we're getting away with this. Like, this is a step in the right direction. We got our faux merge, but really only one person was immune. Not one tribe voting out another person. So baby steps, really just nothing for me to complain about. My sweet baby Andy is still there. I think we're going to get the Andy revenge arc, winner's arc is going to begin next week too, it seems like. So I am as in on Survivor as I have been since I first started watching it on the reruns during COVID. So this is really for the first time I feel like I am, like you said it last week, Brian. I'm excited each week going into an episode. I can't wait to sit down and watch it. I was on this bad habit at the start of the season of like watching it a day or two later, both for like family reasons and work reasons or whatever. But now it's really like I need to find time to watch it tonight, and it's just awesome to be able to finally have that back again. Once again, I think Survivor is as back as it's maybe ever going to be, but it's still awesome TV.
Yeah, and I definitely having watched Survivor since the beginning, there was a shift at some point where like Tribal Council used to be more like, why is this person going home? Now it's who's going home. There was a shift probably like I don't know, around 15, somewhere in that area where Micronesia, where it's like we want to surprise people, which is totally fine. But I do like it when they go back sometimes, like episodes of this where it's like it's Rome, and here's why. You'll watch every mistake he makes in the merge, and by the end of it, you're like, okay, I get it. It's understandable. It's way better than Edge of Extinction when people are getting voted off, and it's like, I don't understand why that happened.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't know. Ben, what do you think of that?
No, yeah, I agree. I think like if every episode was like this, it would probably create like some amount of staleness in terms of like you want there to be some intrigue and some blindsides or some like things that are potentially up in the air, but you could like understand it going either way. But I do think that like having an episode and a vote like this once every season, once every other season is really good. And, I think it really works the best with a player like Rome or like, as you said, Chris Noble. I think it's probably the last time I can remember them, going in this hard and like it being that obvious. And, there are other instances like even like the Eric Reichenbach in Micronesia, right? Like that's like a very different kind of circumstance, but it's a very similar idea.
I thought they were going to show all the votes, just like they did to Eric here. I thought they were going to show all the people voting for Rome, but there were some people voting for Andy, so I guess maybe that's why.
Yeah,
they didn't do it, but it was like the first 3 people.
Yeah, well, I mean, they showed enough where it was like pretty clear what they were doing, and like, I agree. I thought they were going to give everybody a voting confessional, but I think they kind of like split the difference enough where it was like, not taking up 10 minutes of airtime and showing voting confessionals, but also getting the point across.
Yeah.
But yeah,
and reinforcing how chaotic Rome is by not doing his plan.
Like Rome was such a bad player that like, it concussed Andy to the point that he like started speaking German. It was like an episode of House where like, he was so flabbergasted by his reality that he like, became German.
My other favorite Andy, I have 2 favorite Andy parts other than Nazi Andy coming out halfway through that confessional. Was the part where they all get to the beach for the first time. They're all running around trying to find like the advantage, and Andy's just like, you know what, guys, why don't we just hang out and talk? Like, just Andy is literally just there. He wants to make friends, and I think he's gonna bumblebutt his way into like Final 5 or something like that, and it's gonna be awesome.
Mm-hmm. He's the one guy in reality TV history who's like, I came here to make friends.
Yeah, it makes me think of the Angela speech at the start of this past season of Big Brother, the speech against Matt, where she comes down the stairs and during the speech she's like, I love everyone here except for you, and that's Andy Tonica.
The second part is when Saul is like, I think it was Saul, or no, it was Kyle telling everybody at the well, like, yeah, this guy is like clearly stirring this shit up, and like everybody's very clearly like, yeah, you know what, that makes sense, Kyle. And then it cuts over to Andy doing his like sketch finger again. He's like, I believe you, Kyle. Just like, I'll be the brave one here. He's the best. He's the best.
I'm the arbiter of truth.
Yeah,
you have said a true statement.
Now I want to see Sketch Play Survivor. That'd be great.
Yeah,
be a really wonderful casting decision. But yeah, no, I think Andy's been a very interesting character. He's I think gonna really come on, like you said, Dylan, from if the preview's anything to go by. But I guess, should we talk about the twist? That's not really a twist. The twist is that there's not really a twist.
Yeah, the twist is that they're doing that's the same exact thing they did for the first 40 seasons of Survivor, and then like are pretending like they didn't, and that like everything they've done from 41 on is the only canon.
Yeah, it's a new era. It's new era kid. And
I saw somebody post, I was like, I can't wait for the twist where they're going to do a vote at the Final 4 instead of an automatic fire making challenge.
It's going to be sick. Really, it's the new 52, but Survivor.
Yeah.
I mean, if they did that, I would be so happy.
Yeah.
Real twist. Let's go back or let's do a final two. That would really throw people for a loop.
Eliminating Fire would be a twist that I can get behind, though. Like just getting rid of Fire, like that then like shocking people on the island. Like, hey, there's no fire making. We're going to tribal tonight. That would be that's a straight up tribal tonight. That would be cool. That's like a twist. Like, hey, the twist is we're playing this game like we always used to. Like that would be one that would make me happy. Dumb. Yeah. They sound very. It sounds stupid. Like when you step back and look at it, it was exactly that. Like, hey, this isn't a real merge, but we're going to do everything like it was a real merge. We're just not calling it a real merge. Very dumb. But once again, I like that challenge. That challenge was very fun. I thought that was a very entertaining challenge to watch. The balancing, like maybe not so much, but the whole them getting over the puzzle, it was perfect thing. Like Rome, I don't know why they kept putting Rome on puzzles and stuff like that.
100% he demanded to be in that position,
and like just like to see him just like kind of like panicking the whole time, clearly because it was him and Andy, right? That was just
Gabe.
Yeah. That's what it was. Yeah, Gabe. Him and Gabe, and then just to see Kyle, and I forget who it was on the other side. It was Kyle and
Sam.
Sam on the other side. Just going like kind of slow and steady while Andy Rome is losing his mind. It was just
doing this.
Yeah. And it was such a sudden drop too. There was no suspense. They dropped and the other team won. It was like I thought that whole challenge was very well done too.
I think their strategy was just like, let's go as fast as possible and hope the ball like skips over the holes as opposed to goes around.
And I think they had a relatively large lead too. I think they skipped over a little bit of how quickly they got up the pipe compared to the other team, but it seemed like they had a large lead too. So just like Rome, not good at puzzles or like kind of like the little like small finesse stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Here's my take on Rome overall. I think Rome is what happens when a first boot kind of inexplicably like finds himself at the merge. Because like in any other season of he would have been in the second boot here, but like in any other season of Survivor, right, where he doesn't find two advantages right off the bat, like he's the first person out of his tribe, like 99 times out of 100. And here he's found himself at what, for all intents and purposes, is a merge. And he thinks he's a mastermind because he like found an idol and the target had to be redirected onto Asia, and then Genevieve pulled off a move on Keyshawn and convinced him that it was him. So like he's like completely bought into this delusion that he's like this amazing Survivor player because he's like bumblefucked his way through 2 votes that he had no business getting through, and like this is a result of that, right? This is like what you get when a player who has no business being at a merge like accidentally finds themselves there.
I think it's a testament of the domino effect of the move that Genevieve pulled off, because you eliminate you eliminate his idol, his steal a vote. That's all out. He has complete and utter faith in you. She ends up voting him out this episode without really like there was really no sort of conflict with her, what we saw on the show. Like there was never any discussions between like her and Teeny of we're not going to do this. Like it was very clear like, yep, we're done with Rome. I got what I need out of Rome. I'm done. I think it kind of like furthers my thought. Obviously Genevieve then found the advantage too. So I think the Genevieve stock continues to climb when you sit back and just watch. They'll like this result is both directly of Rome's kind of just personality, while also her move that happened 2 episodes ago.
Yeah. I mean, Genevieve continues to, like, every time she's on the screen, I'm like, I feel like I'm watching Parvati for a second. Mm-hmm. It's very, like, jarring, honestly.
There's
like, her vocal cadence is so similar to Parvati's, and, like, the way that she, like, frames confessionals is, like, it's almost identical. It's, like, very, like, unnerving almost how similar she is to Parv.
There's something about her and Saul. I can't put my finger on it, but there's something that they just seem like such real people, and it just seems like such old school castings. And it's too maybe because they're both like they're like slightly older. I forget how old Genevieve is. I think she's in her 30s. Mm-hmm. And obviously Saul is I think 42. He said, 42 to Sue's 45. Yeah. That was a great scene too of him saying, "Yeah, we both look damn good for our 40s." I'm like, I'm gonna regret this when you come back and look at it.
It's a charmer.
But Saul, so I now find myself rooting
salesperson,
for Saul and Genevieve like a lot. I think Genevieve is in a much better position than Saul. Saul has now been mentioned at the past three tribals he's been involved in, right?
But by Rome, in fairness.
fair, but I think the one before that too, Teeny was willing to vote him out, offer him up too. So even that was part of the plan that was constructed by Rome. I think Saul and Genevieve are two really, really likable players. And I think Genevieve especially is just playing the game very, very well right now. And I agree. There's just something about how she talks. She reminds me a lot of Parvati. And I think it's another like glimpse of maybe like old Survivor that I kind of like. So I like her a lot moving forward. Her and Andy to win the game. Andy winning the game would be the best result for the entire
season. It would be an incredible story. Absolutely. It'd be like one of the best winner stories ever.
It's better than the whole Fabio thing. We need
whoa.
I need Andy to win this season.
Watching Fabio win live was an experience. Mm-hmm. I'll put it that way. Yeah. Very unexpected, very
should have been on Winners at War.
Should have been 100%.
He would have won. He was too powerful. They knew it. They couldn't let him.
Look, you're not going to find a bigger Nicaraguan Fabio defender than me.
Yeah,
I love
they were like, we can't have it be Sandra and Fabio. Like, we need someone else to be the second 2-time winner.
Mm-hmm.
So he should go back for 50 though. I would love to see Fabio play Survivor again. I think I do honestly think he would do quite well.
I do think he had some like health issues as well, which might have contributed to why he was not on.
That sucks.
Yeah, it seems like there was a number of past winners that like you would think would be in the conversation for Winners at War that
I think
issues, so.
I think I read that somewhere. Wasn't he like actually considered for Winners at War?
I don't know if he was considered, but I definitely know that like he has had health issues that may have,
I mean, there's only 39 winners. I'm sure they were all pretty heavily considered.
38 actually, and Cassandra won twice. Yeah,
right. Maybe maybe that was just Reddit bullshit I saw, but I feel like I'm connecting the health issues and him originally being asked to go on 40.
V has come out and said that she was not contacted at all. So I don't think that all 38 winners.
All right. That's so fucked. She wasn't called. Ugh. I mean, yeah, it happens. I mean, he was 21 when he played Survivor.
Yeah.
I got Crohn's like in my late 20s. Like, I would not be able to play Survivor, but I could have played Survivor when I was 21. Mm-hmm. Sometimes this health stuff just creeps up on you.
Who's the youngest person ever to make a final travel?
Final?
Natalie Tomarelli, I think, right? She was 19.
Yeah, she was 19. That's crazy.
So what's her name? Was it Bailey? Bailey made like final 5, right? Yes. It was like 5 or 4. Yeah. Bailey, she was what? 18?
I
think she was like 20.
I didn't think she was that old, but either way, that's still very young.
She was young. Yeah. You could also tell that she's very young.
Yeah, I mean, same with Natalie Tomarelli. You can tell she was like you saw her game. You're like, yeah, she's 19. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, no, for sure. But I mean, interesting episode. Not a ton because it was so telegraphed. Is there anything that we didn't touch on that you guys wanted to?
You want to talk about the Sue Idol stuff? That was funny, I guess.
Yeah, no, that is funny that like it sent everyone, an actual red herring, where everyone was looking at the red paint and the broken parts, and I don't know if Sue will get outed later, and this is just setting it up, probably, right? This is setting up something for later, but very fun.
Caroline is too good of a soul for this game, I almost feel like, because she's just loyal, which like that's another thing maybe we're just not accustomed to recently too, is super loyal people. Seems like Caroline is overly loyal to Sue at this point, because most people I feel like find out about someone hiding an idol, that's it, which is a rational response. But I like that. I like the callback too. Obviously, that makes a reason to make it look like. I still think it's overplayed. They're like, "Oh my god, is this blood? Like that's the most unblood looking like red I've ever seen."
Yeah. No, agreed there.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I think Carolyn is very interesting. I just feel like we've gotten more from her in the last couple episodes, but like I still really don't know like where she's going, because I feel like she's like naive, but like it's not in a bad way. So it's very interesting. I kind of want to see where it goes.
Yeah, same. We will luckily get to see where it goes. But yeah, if that's everything, I know we wanted to keep it, around 30 minutes tonight. So
no, I mean, yeah, just great episode. Just we keep heading down this path. Hopefully I sounded good for this episode now that I have the XLR mic.
Yes, no, it sounded great.
No, just 2 thumbs up. Love it. Can't I spent half my week after watching the show thinking about Survivor, and then like I feel like then we hit Monday of the next week, and then you just start thinking about when the next Survivor episode is going to be, and I think that's just it's awesome. Very good. Some good TV going on right now. The Penguin, and then Survivor. Yeah. Just I'm rewatching Leftovers. My wife she's never seen it, so I'm enjoying that. Just a very, very good TV time right now as we get into Oscar season too, because I heard Gladiator 2 is very, very, very good.
I cannot wait to see that. It looks so fucking sick. I think it was a tweet when the first trailer dropped. It was like people are like, sharks in the Coliseum. That's unrealistic. It's like it's a fucking movie. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Like, try to enjoy something in your life, please. Like,
yeah, it's a good time. It's a good time to bring back Wicked Good Show and start doing.
Yeah, whenever you're ready, give me the word.
I had to meet our quota for mentioning old podcasts and other things we used to do on this show. So that's one of them.
Yeah. Hey, whenever you're ready, we could even, if we want to batch do it, we could watch old movies. I rewatched The Thing this weekend, and I was just like, I need to go back and just watch like 80s movies, because this movie goes so hard. I don't know how you guys feel about The Thing. I think it's one of the greatest horror movies of all time.
Iconic, set up a lot of styles that future movies were made too. It was very, very good.
And Among Us probably would have not happened if not for The Thing.
Speaking of video games, I really want to play that one together where it's Among Us, like, you know what I'm talking about, where they all have to do all the
lab. What's the laboratory one?
Yes, I really would love to find time like for all of us to play around that together. That would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, how many players is it?
I have no idea. I think it's at least 4. It's
Yeah.
at least 4. It's definitely might be more.
Yeah, Ben, let's get some of your Among Us group.
Yeah.
You guys used to play all the time, right? You guys were.
Yeah, and then it got like burnt out, and like,
you can only play that kind of a game so many times.
Yeah,
with the same group of people.
It's a good almost like a party game. Like every now and then, like every once or twice a year or something like that. It's a lot of fun.
I mean, that group of people also played, like, we played a lot of like Secret Hitler as well, which is like very similar, like Mafia style game.
Yeah.
Also, that time everybody was COVID. Everybody was like locked up.
Yeah, exactly.
Locked up. So that was another big, very fun. Remember AOC was playing Among Us. That was
true.
What a time to be alive.
Mm-hmm. Ernie was on Twitch last night.
Nice, dude.
So
playing GTA Online.
Yeah, he's playing GTA Online. Yeah. No, it's
GTA RP.
I'm talking to people who have played GTA.
Yeah, right.
Online, so yeah.
No, I would love to play that. I always say, and Ben and I have talked about it, like, we have an idea for a reality show and we want to like test it, but I think like the first thing to test it is doing like a social strategy game like that, but in real life with confessionals and editing that together, just to like get a feel for that type of video program. So stay tuned. Maybe be something out there.
I did just start watching. I'll see how it is and if I like end up finishing the season. But there was one season of The Genius Netherlands that apparently aired in 2022. So I just started watching that. There's like subversion on YouTube. So I don't know. So far players have not been impressing me. I think that they're definitely less immediately smart than the Korean players. So
I think their casting for those shows was very aggressive to like that type of person though. So I don't know if like maybe other countries have the same casting requirements. I mean everybody on the Devil's Plan was extremely accomplished, smart.
Well, they did a similar kind of casting vibe as well, but I just think like I feel like they didn't. I mean, it's only been episode 1, so maybe by episode 3 or 4 it changes. But I feel like they definitely missed, I think, a little bit of like the basic strategy of the game for the first main match. So we'll see. But yeah, I'm watching it. Hopefully it's good, and if it's not, then hopefully it at least gives me some ideas for me and Brian's show.
Yeah. When are they going to bring the Genius to America, Ben? How's that happen?
I mean, if we're talking about like, casting people who are not going to be able to understand the game, I think. Survivor, Big Brother, like there's been shows that are very strategy heavy and that have succeeded. And like obviously the Mole got rebooted and has been doing okay through 2 seasons on Netflix. I think it could work.
Real goal, Ben. We sell Reaper, and we convince them to allow us to license the Genius.
Look,
under the same umbrella.
I would rather play the Genius than make it. Like the Genius is like one of the shows I like. I watch that and I'm like, put me on that, please.
Right. Yeah. Maybe one day. Hopefully we'll see. But yeah, I do think you're right that America's not quite into that type of a game. The Summit is a good example. Or what was the one that Phil was hosting? That that's way more of an American reality competition
the blue collar working.
Yeah.
Tough as nails. That was it.
Tough as nails. Yeah. But
well, I think if it goes anywhere, it would be Netflix, right? Netflix is kind of like really hitting on, I think, the same kind of vibes. The Mole, like I said, has been doing well. They did port the Devil's Plan, and the Devil's Plan is getting a season 2, so I think it could work.
Can't wait. Dylan, anything you want to promote before we get on out of here?
Yeah. So on top of hopefully all playing all that stuff together in the future, follow me on Twitch, DJ Clubberlang. I'm streaming. I have a whole new setup, basically. I'm very excited. We've come a long way of basically saying I don't know if I'll ever be able to stream. Like 3 weeks ago to now, I went all in. I'm literally all in. Not making a life of streaming, but getting good at streaming.
Not that you can fun. Quit your job and stuff.
Not yet. I wish soon. I'm not all in yet. I'm willing to try to be all in. So Call of Duty comes out Friday. I get on an Xbox Game Pass for PC. Going to be playing it. It's already downloaded. Very, very excited. I wiped my PC completely clean. Got a new monitor. Upgraded the PC. Got new mic arms. It's just it feels good to do that. I'm very, very excited. So follow me there, DJ Cleverling on Twitch, please.
Yeah. I can't wait to play. I'm gonna be using my Xbox. I was like, I don't know if I can fit.
It's a big
my computer.
5 billion terabytes of yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm very excited for that. I got a wedding this weekend, so I won't be able to play until Sunday probably. But might fire up the stream and join you if you're streaming on Sunday to get my ass kicked at Black Ops. It's been a long time since I've really buckled down and tried to play Call of Duty seriously. I think Advanced Warfare was the last one that I was like, I'm grinding this. I'm trying to be good at it. And that was 10 years ago. So I can't imagine my reflexes are still any good, or at least not nearly as good as they were 10 years ago,
Yep.
But yeah, Ben, what do you want to promote?
I mean, you can follow me on Twitter. I also might start using Blue Sky. I've had a Blue Sky account. I've never touched it really, but it's the same handle.
All right, I'll follow you right now.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see where my whims take me. But yeah.
I just didn't know anyone else on.
Yeah, that was kind of my issue as
Right.
well. I just didn't want to like have to find people to refollow and all that. But like, you know, I followed maybe like 20 or 30 people. There's like a Chrome extension you can use that like links to your Twitter account and tells you if there's any people on both.
All right.
Everyone tries to find it. I used that to make it a little like less painful. But yeah, I don't know. I'm still on both. We'll see.
All right, I'm just gonna go through your follow list and just follow the people that I know. That's my Chrome extension.
Yeah, I don't know how useful it'll be, but yeah.
Well, Josh Wiggler, love Josh Wiggler.
Yeah, there's a couple of Toronto people in there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Fishback, Josh Wiggler, Mark Bloom. Those are the ones that I've followed. But yeah, you can follow me on Twitter and Blue Sky at the fake BMAR, BMARR. It's not Blue Sky the same. No, it's Brian Marr on Blue Sky. But so yeah, follow me there. New video on the main channel on Friday. I did a little like thing about how putting Black Ops on Game Pass is Xbox like last big swing to make Game Pass work. If this isn't the thing that gets people to sign up to Game Pass en masse, it's over. There's nothing that's gonna get people to go to it. So I did a video on that. If that sounds interesting, check it out on Friday. And yeah, like I said last time, we're huge sports, those fake nerds, TikTok, YouTube, all of that. Thank you guys so much for listening, and we'll see you in the next one.